John Keith in the comment section says, guys, I'm a Rangers man. What an effort from Celtic last night. Absolutely outstanding. Marzuno points out the referee was actually brilliant. Apart from that, he let the game flow, not blowing for dives and niggles. I mean, the Maeda incident, what do you think of it?
Right, first things first. Maeda is at the back of Upamecano. And you can see Upamecano putting out his arm. I think he's feeling, where is he? Mm-hmm. Because and by the way, if I was up against Maeda, I'd be doing something similar. I don't think he's deliberately trying to foul him, but he makes contact. Right? So therefore, it could be a foul.
Aye.
Yeah, I think the most kind of valid point of the lot is the one that Brendan Rodgers makes there.
A bit naive.
Well, yeah,
or
stay down.
Aye.
And I think that's where Upamecano's been very clever, getting back up to his feet. Let's get this on. If he stays down, I think the referee has to stop it if it's a head injury. And the fact that he's looked round and he's back on his feet means that play can continue. I think that's the most salient point of all.
And I don't get why VAR didn't get involved. I mean, you assume maybe behind the scenes they did, and
it could be they have silent reviews. They maybe looked at it and they've said what I've said there. It's not a blatant. He's not went out and hooked him. He's feeling, and he's definitely caught him in the face.
I agree with what you're saying. I don't think it's deliberate. Maybe a touch shot. I think that's a foul though. I think he's caught him. He's clumsy. Same guy that I think quite clumsily in the first leg lands on Arne Engels' foot.
Mm-hmm. I know you've not forgiven him for that.
I know, listen, it'll be a while. Look, a lot of comments coming in on this as well. It was definitely a foul, but proud of the boys, just need to be more clinical. Excellent performance and heartbreaking ending. John as well saying, I was so proud of Celtic's performance last night. We were out on our legs near the end and would probably have gone out in extra time anyway. We should have signed a top striker in January. I know we touched on that a little bit last night. But 24 hours on, I mean, do you change your opinion at all? Maybe if Kyle goes in the middle instead of Maeda in the first half?
Well, he'd probably be in a treatment table just now with a bad shoulder, wouldn't he?
True,
Look, I get it, but I keep coming back to it. You know, Celtic had a decision to make, and there was an element of a gamble to lose their top goal scorer in the January transfer window when there was still a domestic league campaign to win, even though you'd need to be a bit glass half empty at that point to think we could lose this.
Yeah.
but you just don't know.
Yeah.
So that was where the gamble was. I don't think anybody realistically looked at 2 legs against Bayern Munich thinking Kyogo might nick one here.
Aye.
Now people might point to that as being a lack of ambition, and maybe they'll have a point. And certainly what I said last night, my overwhelming takeaway from that game was Celtic fans should now, yes, the pain is there. It was a sore way to get eliminated from the Champions League. But for me, it's got to be, look at what this team...
The progression.
Look at the progression it's made.
Aye.
What might this team be capable of achieving next year under this manager with another transfer window? And so that for me, Celtic they've come of age. I said that after Bergamo. They now look like a team that is really equipped streetwise. I think that's a really important part of it.
Yeah.
And capable of taking a game to anybody at this level now, in any arena. That's a massive progression.
Yeah.
And I think for Celtic, look, there will be an argument, and I'd probably make it myself, that if Brendan Rodgers is planning for the qualifiers for the next Champions League, he could probably do with having the guy that he sees as being his next kind of first choice striker in the squad for 6 months.
Aye.
For 6 months.
Aye.
To get him properly embedded, up to speed, and get him, just familiarised with the other players and the style of play.
Aye.
That, and Celtic will stand accused of missing a trick with that one, and I can't disagree. And I do think it is curious to sell your top scorer at that point in the season. But I don't think... I think we're looking for people to blame and things to complain about in terms of, was Celtic realistically going to get through against Bayern Munich, Kyogo or not Kyogo? After watching the 2 games, maybe. But...
Aye. Well, that's the thing, but before the 2 games, you could be forgiven for thinking like, Celtic can go away to Bayern Munich, they might just get one really good chance, 2 maybe. What did they get last night? 4 or 5?
Yeah.
And had you known that, maybe you'd have kept Kyogo, but there was no way to know.
But you know what? Who cares? Well, actually, this is actually boring because it's been done. It's been done. Now, there might be people who won't forget it and they might look at it and say, well, this is a lack of forward planning. Celtic should have a striker. I'm not going to disagree with that because I said it myself. If you're going to sell your top goal scorer, you better have one lined up to come back in. And they botched that a little bit. Let's be brutally honest. But the other thing is, you know, and I said it last night, the first chance Maeda gets sliding in after the brilliant move that Engels fires it across the 6-yard box. You look at that and you go, whoa, if that's Adam Maeda, he's probably a foot taller.
Aye.
He's probably got the levers to reach that.
Aye. And even that one we tried to lift.
But it's all just all these ifs and buts, isn't it? Look, do you know what? I come back to what I said right at the start of last night. Celtic can walk out of this with their heads held more than high. Their reputation has been restored. Brendan Rodgers will feel as if his reputation on the European stage has been restored. Yep. This is a good news story and it should be treated as that.
Aye.
Can Celtic get better? Well, I think they've got a manager that can make them better. And that would excite me if I was looking forward to next season, because I can't remember the last time Celtic walked away from the end of a European campaign thinking, I can't wait to do that again, because it's been traumatic.
Yeah.
This has been the opposite of that.
Absolutely.
It was traumatic one night in Dortmund,
Aye.
but the progression that's been made since then suggests very, very strongly that Celtic will be even better equipped, more experienced and more capable of putting up a genuine fight next time round. I think that's something to be excited about.
Right, and I was saying last night that I genuinely believe Celtic have got an elite manager, and I would stand by that. Just very finally in Celtic, on the team, Marzuno here saying they kept their plan to target Taylor down the left, but Schlupp stood up to it well. Is Schlupp now first choice left back?
Well, a lot of people made that snap decision last night immediately after the game, didn't they? That they prefer Schlupp to Greg Taylor. I can certainly see from the physical attributes why you might kind of want that to be the case. Look, yeah, there's a very strong case now, and not least because Greg Taylor will walk away from that one last night going, well, I used to be first choice here.
Aye.
And he's not sorted out his contractual situation, and you know that Kieran Tierney's coming back in the summer.
And Schlupp looked really good.
It does look a little bit like Greg Taylor might be the backup until he moves away, and then Kieran Tierney comes in as first choice left back, with Schlupp as a backup of him.
Aye.
You know, Greg Taylor, he's got a couple of years on Jeffrey Schlupp, doesn't he? So
Schlupp's 32, yeah.
I don't know. I think there is, and I've said it for a while, I think there's a lot of Celtic fans out there that for some reason just can't take to Greg Taylor, and I've said to you before,
I don't really get that either.
Well, I think it's because his name's not Kieran Tierney.
Aye, okay.
And I think
Fair
it's
point.
always been the case.
Aye.
And I think he's paid a bit of a price for that unfairly. I think he's been brilliant for Celtic. I think they've been brilliant for him. But yeah, you just wonder if that last night is a little indication of where the manager's mind is at in terms of who's going to be his first choice left back to keep that position warm for Kieran Tierney.
Yeah. And Billy Fitch, I think it's a nice way to sum up Celtic. He says everyone was at least a 9 out of 10 for Celtic last night, which I do think, you know, is not over-exaggerating at all.
No, I agree. I think we said so last night as well.
Aye.
Where were you, Billy? In your bed?
Aye, absolutely. What a packed show it's been.
Busy.
Absolutely.
We did suggest last night that
We
this show might
did
be
give a little
interesting.
hint, didn't we?
Yeah.
But aye, I think that brings us to the end of tonight's show. Unless there's anything you want to add, any other exclusive you've got up your sleeve?
Nothing, unless, hold on, I'll check my phone. No, I don't. Nothing appears to have happened in the last 30 minutes. But I'm telling you, the way this thing has been moving over the last couple of days, I expect something will have changed by this time tomorrow when we're sitting back in this studio and we'll be able to put a little bit more meat on the bones.
And when it does change, you can find it all on
This
Record
is where
Sport
you'll
Online
find it.
and on Hotline Live, of course. Keith, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy your pizza if you stop by Gianni's tonight.
No chance.
Okay. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for all your comments. We really appreciate it. As Keith says, we'll be back to do it all at 6 p.m. tomorrow night. Hope you can join us then. Cheers.